Something big is happening, but most Americans won't notice it until it reaches their own street. Thousands of grocery stores across America have closed this year. But the harder truth is what comes after. Millions of people now live far from a place to buy basic food, and prices keep rising faster than most families can keep up with, especially anyone over 50. You might have felt it already. One day you pull into the parking lot of your usual store, and the lights are off. The shelves are gone, and suddenly your grocery trip takes twice the time and costs way more than it used to. This isn't just a few struggling shops, the whole system is feeling the pressure. And the chain that lands at #1 on this list, it closed hundreds of locations and then got hit by another crisis no one expected. So, make sure to watch till the end. So, let's dive in. Kroger, giant losing its grip. Kroger has been part of everyday life for so long that most people barely think about it. If you live in the Midwest or the South, you've probably walked through one of their stores for years. With over 2,700 locations across 35 states, it's been the default grocery stop for a lot of families. But lately, the company has been making some tough calls, and Kroger plans to close around 60 underperforming stores over the next 18 months, and it already took a $100 million hit tied to those decisions. Rising labor costs, higher fuel prices, and ongoing supply chain issues are making certain locations hard to maintain. And with the long-discussed $24.6 billion merger with Albertsons now off the table, a few postponed decisions are finally moving forward. And if you live in places like McKinney or Dickinson in Texas, you've already seen what that looks like. Dark storefronts where the weekly grocery trip used to be. And when a town loses its only full-service Kroger, the ripple effect is real. Longer drives, fewer choices, more stress. It makes you wonder, is this the start of a bigger wave? Because Kroger isn't the only. Heavyweight quietly shrinking. Albertsons, empire in retreat. Albertsons is one of those names you see everywhere, even if you don't always notice it. Between Safeway, Vons, Jewel Osco, and all its other banners, the company runs more than 2,200 stores and over 1,700 pharmacies across 34 states. It recently brought in a new CEO, Susan D. Morris, who stepped into the role on May 1st, 2025. But the company is going through a tighter season. Albertsons announced a plan to save about $1.5 billion over the next 3 years. That includes automation, productivity programs, and major changes to its supply chain. And since the merger with Kroger was blocked, the company doesn't have the growth path it was counting on. Even with tech investments, higher costs and thinner margins are forcing tough decisions. Some underperforming stores are closing or being folded into nearby locations. For communities that rely on those stores, especially lower income areas, it means fewer nearby options and more stress for families. Could the next closure affect your neighborhood too? Safeway. Familiar faces missing. If you live in California, Oregon, or Washington, there's a good chance you've shopped there for years and even know a few employees by name. It's one of Albertsons' most familiar banners, and for many neighborhoods, it feels like part of the community. But the chain is being pulled into the same challenges Albertsons is dealing with. Safeway stores are feeling the impact of company-wide cost cuts and restructuring. Older supply chains, higher labor costs, and rising real estate prices make it harder for some locations to stay competitive. And with discount grocers growing fast, some shoppers are drifting away. Because of all this, a few Safeway stores are closing or shrinking their services. Regulars might notice fewer staff, changed product lines, or shorter hours, and employees who built relationships with regular customers may transfer or leave. And it's not only the big chain store, there's a smaller one now facing even more pressure. Walmart Neighborhood Market, convenience under pressure. These aren't the giant blue and yellow Walmarts most of us picture. Neighborhood market stores are the smaller, grocery-only version, built for quick trips, not full carts. They've become the stop for milk, bread, and a fast dinner run in a lot of suburban and city neighborhoods. But this smaller size comes with its own challenges. These stores face tough competition from Aldi, Dollar General, and other low-cost chains that operate with leaner expenses. At the same time, running a store in busy urban areas isn't cheap. Higher rent, higher labor costs, and tighter margins make it harder for some locations to stay profitable. Walmart has also been putting more focus on supercenters and online shopping, which puts less attention on these smaller markets. For shoppers, a closure can be felt right away. Parking lots that used to be packed with quick-trip customers start looking half-empty, and the simple in-and-out routine suddenly turns into a longer drive. And next, even Costco, known for buying in bulk, is rethinking its approach. Costco, Bulk shopping shrinks. Costco has always felt like its own world. Giant carts, huge pallets, and aisles stacked with everything from rotisserie chickens to TVs. As of mid-2025, it runs 907 warehouses worldwide, with 624 in the US and Puerto Rico. For many families and small businesses, a Costco membership is part of the routine. But even a warehouse giant has limits. Operating these huge buildings costs a lot, and those expenses keep climbing. Inflation and supply chain issues make it harder to keep shelves full without raising prices. And with tighter budgets, some shoppers are starting to question whether their membership still feels worth it. A few regions have already seen closures or delayed openings. Not many, but enough that some members now drive much farther than before. Small businesses that depend on Costco for bulk supplies feel the strain too. You might even notice thinner pallet stacks or longer waits at the membership desk, haven't you? Up next, Target's grocery aisles are getting thinner too, and that change hits your weekly shopping in a very different way. Target Grocery, fewer aisles ahead. Target's grocery side used to feel like a sure thing. Walk in, grab your produce, grab your snacks, done. But lately, the cracks are showing. Target's been pulling back. Costs are high, competition's tough, and some stores just aren't pulling their weight. They've already shut down a few smaller locations that relied heavily on grocery traffic, like Uptown Minneapolis, College Park in Maryland, Falls Church in Virginia, and one in Philadelphia. And even in stores that are still open, you can feel the shift. Produce aisles look a little skinnier. Shelves you expect to be full sometimes aren't. The whole grocery section just feels lighter than it used to. Does your local Target still feel like a real grocery stop, or does it seem like it's dialing things back? Stick around, because next up, a regional favorite that's slowly slipping away. Aldi. Tight margins, tough choices. Aldi is growing fast. More than 225 new stores planned for 2025. Most of them coming from the 220 Winn-Dixie and Harvey's locations it bought across Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and a few nearby states. On paper, that sounds like pure expansion, but behind the scenes, the pressure is real. Aldi runs on thin margins. Their own report says they save US shoppers about $8.3 billion a year, and keeping prices that low means every store has to run almost perfectly. When a former Winn-Dixie flips to an Aldi, the whole place changes. The wide aisles tighten up, the product variety shrinks, and the old neighborhood feel disappears. Workers often have to retrain, and longtime shoppers sometimes feel like they've lost their old market overnight. Trader Joe's. Favorite finds disappear. Trader Joe's has been a neighborhood treasure since 1967. Today, it operates about 581 stores across 42 states plus DC. But even this cult favorite grocer is under serious pressure. On the surface, things look normal. Trader Joe's reportedly plans to open 21 new locations. But behind that growth, costs are catching up. Rising real estate prices and supply chain issues make stocking their unique private label items harder than ever. What shoppers feel most is the loss of the unexpected. You'll discover this snack once and it's gone forever. Moments are fading. Once full wine sections now look quieter. Some shelves just don't have those small batch treats you used to grab on a whim. Longtime fans are noticing it. The Trader Joe's down the block doesn't feel quite like your Trader Joe's anymore. After Trader Joe, we turn to organic, a chain that helped define it, now shrinking. Whole Foods. Organic dreams fade. Whole Foods has always been the place you go when you want the good stuff. But even with Amazon behind it, the pressure is showing. The company has already closed 6 stores, including locations in San Francisco, Brooklyn, Montgomery, Towson, and Chicago, all labeled as older or underperforming. Then came the UNFI cyber attack. That's their main distributor. Overnight, deliveries dropped, and many stores saw fewer organics, patchy produce sections, and long empty freezer doors. If you've walked into a Whole Foods lately and thought, why does it look thinner? That's why. Leadership has also pulled back on big goals. They once talked about 1,200 plus stores. Now, that expansion plan is off the table. For neighborhoods that lose a Whole Foods, it's not just a grocery gap. It's losing the place where you picked up your weekly produce or your favorite specialty items. So up next, a Florida favorite that's been a part of daily life for generations. Publix, Florida's heartbeat slows. Publix has been part of daily life in Florida for generations. With around 1,390 stores, most of them in the Southeast, it's the place many people grew up shopping. But even this steady chain is feeling the strain. In 2024, Publix closed 13 stores, according to its annual report, and plan to close more. Most of the pressure comes from higher labor and real estate costs in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. And with Aldi and other discount chains growing fast, Publix has less room to breathe. If you live in Florida, you might have already noticed small changes. A deli that feels quieter than usual, or a remodel that never quite happened. For older customers, losing a store can mean longer drives and fewer fresh options close to home. Employees feel it too, especially when hours shift or departments shrink. Now we head north to a grocery name almost every New England family knows, and it's now under real pressure. Wegmans, Northeast staple wobbles. It's family-owned, known for great produce, big prepared food sections, and that warm, we've got you feeling. But even feeling alone won't shield from economic hardship. In 2023, they closed their Natick, Massachusetts store, a rare move for a company that almost never shuts locations. Rising labor costs in states like New York and Massachusetts, along with higher food and transport costs, have made it tougher to keep that premium shopping experience running the same way. Some longtime employees have even talked about morale slipping, which is unusual for a chain famous for treating staff well. Next, an iconic southern chain with deep roots. You might not expect it to be under threat. H-E-B. Texas Giant Falters. H-E-B is a grocery legend in Texas, and people trust it the way some folks trust their doctor. But even this hometown favorite is feeling the squeeze. In early 2025, that winter storm pushed H-E-B to cut hours across dozens of stores. Some locations in San Antonio and Austin closed early, others paused deliveries completely. For many Texans, especially seniors and families in rural areas, that meant one more barrier to getting basics. At the same time, H-E-B is shifting money around. Instead of opening more stores, they're pouring funds into remodels. The Las Palmas store in San Antonio is getting a $15.6 million overhaul. And in Dripping Springs, they're tearing down a 75,000 square foot store to build a 125,000 square foot one. It's growth, but it also means months of construction and disrupted routines. If you shop at H-E-B, you might have already felt it. Early closings, fewer services, or aisles that seem a little thinner while upgrades happen. What about your local H-E-B? Noticing any changes? Next, we look at a Midwest classic quietly stepping back. Hy-Vee, Midwest favorites vanish. Hy-Vee is one of those names you just expect to see in the Midwest, right? But this year, a lot of folks are feeling the change. The company is shutting down two big production centers in Iowa, Ankeny and Chariton, on June 2025. That move alone affects 461 workers. And on top of that, stores in Cedar Rapids, Waterloo, and Davenport are closing because they didn't meet financial expectations. The management is trying to soften the blow with shuttle service and free delivery, and some workers are being moved into other stores. But still, an empty storefront hits hard. Coming up, a grocery chain many take for granted on the East Coast is quietly shifting under new leadership. Food Lion. Familiar stores close. Food Lion is one of the biggest names in everyday groceries. It's part of a whole Delhaize USA and runs a little over 1,100 stores across the country. So when they make big changes, a lot of communities feel it fast. Right now, the company is restructuring, and that means 113 underperforming stores are being closed or converted. On top of that, Food Lion's longtime president, Meg Ham, is retiring in 2025 after more than 35 years with the company. Big leadership changes plus large-scale closures usually ripple out into the towns that depend on these stores. For shoppers, it means the place they've gone for years might suddenly look different, or be gone entirely. Employees who've built their routines and relationships there may have to start over somewhere else. Store aisles once humming with regulars now shift as logos fade to new brands. Neighborhood grocery corners that once felt like home feel different, quieter. Next up, two Midwestern and Ohio-based chains with deep hometown roots are facing real pressure of their own. Giant Eagle. Ohio, neighborhoods feel it. Giant Eagle is one of those names you see all over Ohio and western Pennsylvania. It's a regional chain with deep roots, but the ground under it is getting a little tougher, with labor and operating costs climbing in states like Ohio, and big competitors like Walmart, Aldi, and Kroger pushing hard on prices. It's harder for a chain of this size to keep every store running the way it used to. You may have already felt it. Maybe the store near you trimmed its hours. Maybe prices crept up. Maybe a location that used to feel friendly and local now feels more corporate and quiet. When regional chains slow their expansion or quietly pull back, it's usually the neighborhoods that notice first. For shoppers who've relied on Giant Eagle for years, even small changes can feel like the start of something bigger. And if you're in Ohio, you probably know exactly what I mean. But there's another grocery name from Michigan that's slipping too. Meijer. Michigan memories fade. Meijer has been part of everyday life in Michigan and the Midwest for decades. You walk in for groceries, grab a few household things, and finish everything in one stop. But lately, the pressure on big supercenters is catching up. With inflation still hitting Midwest budgets and shoppers spreading purchases across cheaper stores, Meijer is feeling some real strain, and going head-to-head with Walmart and Target means every dip in traffic matters. In some Michigan and Ohio areas, people say their Meijer just feels a little different now. Fewer updates, slower aisles, not as much investment as before. Suburban Michigan and Midwestern towns may lose the all-in-one shop for food plus home goods convenience, and longtime Meijer shoppers may see fewer new store investments or remodeling. Next, we're moving to another chain on this list, and its situation is just as surprising. Winco, budget shoppers affected. When you shop at Winco, you usually go in expecting a simple, affordable trip. Grab what you need in bulk, check out, and get home. But lately, many shoppers across states like Idaho, Oregon, and Utah say the experience feels different. Fewer self-checkout lanes are open, lines move slower, and it's not unusual to see people waiting halfway down an aisle. For a chain built on tight margins and high volume, even small operational issues hit hard. And it's not just shoppers feeling it. Winco's employee-owned model sounds great on paper, but some workers say they don't feel much say in how stores are run. When morale drops, service often follows, and that makes the whole store feel a little less steady. For families counting every dollar, these changes matter. A longer wait or poorly staffed checkout can turn a routine grocery run into a real headache. Moving up to a northeastern state, we come to chain that's under, but in a very different way. Tops Markets, New York feels empty. If you've shopped at Tops for years, you might have noticed the mood shifting. The chain is cutting back as part of its Chapter 11 process, and that includes closing 10 underperforming stores across New York, Pennsylvania, and Vermont. It's a tough move, but rising costs, old leases, and uneven sales left some locations struggling to stay open. For many towns in upstate New York, losing a Tops hits harder than it looks on paper. It means fewer full-service grocery options, longer drives, and more pressure on families who rely on nearby stores. Employees are being moved where possible, but not everyone will have a place to land. Shoppers feel it too. Parking lots that used to be busy now look half full, and aisles don't have the same steady flow of regulars. It creates a sense of, is my store next? That's hard to ignore. How about you? Has your local Tops changed in the last year? After that, we turn to a very different kind of grocery pioneer with deep history in the South. Piggly Wiggly, Southern self-service pioneer. Sometimes you drive past a Piggly Wiggly and it just feels familiar, even if you haven't stopped in for years. It's been part of Southern life for over a century, going all the way back to 1916 when it invented the self-service grocery idea. But lately, some of those long-standing stores are quietly disappearing. As leases expire in states like Alabama and Mississippi, several locations aren't being renewed, and competition from bigger chains is making it harder for smaller franchise owners to keep up. Because most Piggly Wiggly stores are independently owned, upgrades and cost cuts don't happen the same way everywhere. Some owners simply can't carry the rising costs, and when a store shuts down, the town really feels it. Fewer jobs, fewer choices, and the loss of a place people have relied on for generations. Inside, you might notice dimmer aisles or slower checkout lanes, a sign that things are changing. Now, we shift into the world of discount grocers and see what happens when those budget lifelines start to disappear. Family Dollar. Discount stores disappear. When you walk past a Family Dollar these days, you might wonder how much longer it'll be there. This chain has been a lifeline for so many lower income and rural neighborhoods, but it's been hit hard. Earlier safety and hygiene problems, including serious rodent issues in a distribution center, damaged trust. Add thin profit margins, higher labor costs, and tough competition from Dollar General and Walmart Neighborhood Market, and the pressure keeps building. And when these stores close, the impact is real. Some communities lose their only place to buy basics at a price they can manage. In one small town in North Carolina, a longtime customer said she used to walk to her local Family Dollar every week for paper goods and frozen meals because it was the only store she could reach without a car. After it closed, she told, "Now I have to ask my neighbor for rides just to buy soap." Coming up, stores that once felt like part of your local routine, now quietly disappearing. Save-A-Lot, low-cost options vanish. Save-A-Lot has been around since 1977 and once spread to about 1,200 stores across 32 states. It was built for tight budgets and simple layouts, basic brands, no extras. But the pressure has been building. Costs keep rising, margins stay razor thin, and it's hard to compete when Aldi, Walmart, and even Kroger undercut you on the same items. You've probably seen the signs where you live. In parts of Ohio and Tennessee, clusters of Save-A-Lot locations have shut down, sometimes 3 or 4 in the same region. When that happens, families who rely on cheap basics end up driving 5, 10, even 15 extra miles just to buy groceries. One dad in Louisville told a local paper that he used to grab everything for the week a few blocks from home. Now he spends twice the gas money. Next, a chain specializing in fresh, healthy produce is also feeling the squeeze. Sprouts Farmers Market. Healthy prices rise. When you walk into a Sprouts, you expect fresh produce, good prices, and that simple open market feel. Since opening in 2002, the chain has grown to about 380 stores across 23 states, especially in places where healthy food wasn't always easy to find. But lately, the pressure is heavy. Organic produce costs more, inflation keeps pushing prices up, and competition from Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, and local co-ops cuts into Sprouts' customer base. A few of their newer locations in states like California and Texas have already closed after underperforming. And when a Sprouts disappears, the loss hits people in very real ways. A mom in suburban Phoenix said she used to stock up on affordable fruit cups and granola bars for her 2 kids. It was the only place where healthy didn't mean expensive, she told. After her store closed, she now has to pay more for the same items. Unfortunately, Sprouts Farmers isn't the only affordable organic chain that struggle. Lies Market, Little US, affordable organic crumbles. This German chain came to the US in 2017, bringing a distinctly European mix of low-cost basics, private label goods, and affordable organic options. Some stores even trade under the Lies Market name. Today they run about 150 US locations, but the rollout hasn't been smooth. A handful of stores in North Carolina, Georgia, and Virginia closed after sales fell short, showing how tough the US discount grocery race is against Aldi and Walmart. That matters because Lidl's model widened choices, imports, small batch goods, and cheaper organics, and those options don't always land elsewhere. People notice when a Lidl disappears. A Richmond shopper told a local reporter she used to buy almost all her weekly produce there because it was the rare place where organic didn't blow her budget. After nearby store closed in 2024, she switched to a larger chain and said her grocery bill jumped about 20%. Next, a tech-forward chain struggles to make grocery shopping futuristic. Amazon Fresh, tech meets reality. When you think about Amazon Fresh, you probably picture the tech, the smart carts, the auto checkout, the idea that groceries could feel as simple as walking in and walking out. But even with more than 30 stores across California, Illinois, and New York, the numbers just haven't matched the hype. The biggest issue is cost. All that hardware, all that automation, and all the labor behind it add up fast. A few locations, like the ones paused in Los Angeles and Chicago, never pulled in the foot traffic Amazon expected. And when the stores underperform, Amazon slows expansion or quietly shuts doors. Now, smart carts idle where shoppers once scanned and went. Have you tried Amazon Fresh? Did the tech actually make things easier for you? Coming up, a Southern icon quietly fades, touching generations. Winn-Dixie. Southern icon quietly fades. Across the Southeast, Winn-Dixie has been more than just a grocery store. Founded in 1925 and headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, it grew to nearly 500 stores across 9 states, becoming part of the weekly routine for generations. The chain struggled to recover after its 2005 bankruptcy. Aging stores, rising labor costs, and heavy competition from Publix and Walmart have forced closures in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama, as the company tries to stay financially stable. And the impact is real. A Tallahassee mom shared that she shopped at her local Winn-Dixie for 30 years, picking up weekly essentials and snacks for her kids. When her store closed, she said, "It feels like losing a part of the neighborhood." For many, these closures mean fewer convenient options and a familiar presence gone. And now, the countdown moves to the top 5 most iconic closures. Some will genuinely surprise you. Windward Foods, local choices, shrink. Windward Foods has been part of Hawaii's daily rhythm since 1982. With only 12 stores across Oahu and Maui, it's always been a place where families could find local produce, island-made goods, and prices that felt fair for the community. But in the last few years, things have changed fast. Shipping costs to the islands have climbed sharply. Rent in key neighborhoods keeps rising, and like many businesses in Hawaii, Windward Foods is facing a shortage of workers. At the same time, bigger competitors like Foodland, Safeway, and Costco offer more variety at lower prices. That's a hard battle for a small local chain to win. For many families, each closure means longer drives, higher grocery bills, and fewer local options. Some employees have had their hours cut. Others have lost their jobs altogether. Once busy aisles now echo with empty carts. Next, a Midwest staple is shrinking, and locals feel it right away. Fairway, Midwest grocery gaps. Fairway started back in 1938 in Boone, Iowa, and grew into a steady presence across the Midwest. With around 130 stores in Iowa, Illinois, Minnesota, and South Dakota, it's been a reliable stop for fresh meat, baked goods, and everyday groceries, especially in smaller towns where options are limited. But competition has gotten tough. Hy-Vee, Walmart, and Aldi keep expanding, and rising labor and supply chain costs are squeezing margins. Because of that, Fairway has started closing a few locations in quieter rural areas. And when it happens, the change is felt right away. The smell of fresh bread and meat fades from the streets, and with it, a piece of the town's daily rhythm. People lose a place they've shopped at for decades. Families now have to drive much farther for basic groceries. Workers face cut hours or job loss. It leaves the community feeling a little emptier. Next, an East Coast giant faces changing neighborhoods. Giant, East Coast adjustment. Giant has been part of daily life on the East Coast since 1936. If you're in Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, or Washington, D.C., there's a good chance you've shopped at one of its 165 stores, maybe for groceries, a last-minute ingredient, or even your prescriptions. But things are changing quickly. Giant closed its large store in Ashburn, Virginia, the one that had been serving the community for almost 20 years. And in Baltimore, the store on Edmondson Avenue shut down too. That closure hit especially hard. Many older residents nearby relied on it because they don't have easy transportation to go anywhere else. Giant is also shutting down some of its delivery centers in Maryland and Delaware, and that means hundreds of workers are now facing cut hours or job loss. And honestly, that familiar hum of checkout scanners, the sound that makes a grocery store feel alive, is going quiet in more neighborhoods. Next, a supermarket woven into daily routines faces big shifts. ShopRite. Neighborhoods feel change. ShopRite started back in 1946 in Keesby, New Jersey, and now runs roughly 330 stores across New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. For many people in these areas, ShopRite isn't just a grocery store. It's part of their daily routine and community fabric. But recently, it's getting squeezed. Rents are rising in urban neighborhoods, supply chains are tighter, and big competitors like Wegmans, Whole Foods, and online grocery services are drawing away customers. These pressures are pushing some ShopRite locations to close or scale back. You might even see it yourself. Shoppers driving past empty parking lots where ShopRite once buzzed with life. And for a lot of families, that quiet lot is a reminder that their weekly routine just got harder. And finally, at number 1, the last checkout day hits a household name chain. Family Fare, last checkout day. Family Fare has been around since 1960, starting out in Hudsonville, Michigan. And for decades, it's just been there. A steady, familiar grocery store across Michigan, Wisconsin, South Dakota, and North Dakota. But now, a handful of these stores are getting ready to shut their doors for good. Spartan Nash, the company behind nearly 200 stores of Family Fare, Martin's, and VG's, says these closures are strategic. Corporate language, right? But the impact feels anything but strategic when it hits your town. Take Glenwood, Iowa. The Family Fare at 423 Sharp Street is closing in mid-February 2025, and 23 employees, cashiers, stockers, people customers saw every week will be out of work. And over in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, the Lake Wissota Family Fare is shutting down sometime between March 16th and March 27th, 2025. That one affects 45 workers across the deli, liquor, and front-end departments. And here's where it really hits home when that final checkout beep echoes through the store. It's not just a register turning off. It's someone's weekend grocery spot disappearing. It's an older neighbor losing a store they could walk to. It's families having to drive farther, pay more, or settle for fewer options.